What is up, Super Fam? I am Sensei Finito, and this is Battery CEO. Welcome to Marvel Bros, where we discuss all things Marvel and everything pop culture. But today, Battery, tell them what we're talking about, because we're not talking
Well,
about Marvel today.
wow. Well, guys, we just got back from the movies, a Regal IMAX theater, and we just watched Dune 2021. We
Oh my gosh,
we're almost at a loss for words in
yo,
terms of like describing how amazing this movie was. All right, like we came out of that movie motivated. We knew a villain and we hated, right? This movie made us feel so many emotions. Oh my,
definitely,
this movie was extraordinary, bro. This movie was
yeah.
Dune is extraordinary, and everyone needs to watch this movie right now.
I I agree, man. Everyone definitely needs to check out this movie. I mean, we were okay, before we get too far into this, I'll let you guys all know if you are new around these parts, we do 15 minutes of non-spoilers at the beginning, and then at the end we do another 15 minutes basically talking just about the movie and just going into it. So if you haven't seen Dune yet, don't worry, we're not going to spoil anything for you, and when we do get into those spoilers, we will make sure to let you guys know beforehand.
Yep.
So yo, I mean, I was just taken back by the entire movie. Like everything from
There's just
every
so many
aspect
moments,
of
man.
this movie was great. And when we went and picked up Jay from from his grandma and all that good stuff, he was like, "Dad, did you like the movie?" I was like, "Yeah, I loved the movie." He was like, "What was your favorite part?" And I was like, the entire movie, like
It's hard to say.
it's so it's like near impossible to pick out one solid moment from this movie that was a great moment.
Mhm. Yeah, I and we had that conversation, man. Like it's very difficult to really kind of pinpoint what our favorite aspect or part in this movie, and because there's multiple parts
Yeah,
that are amazing. The soundtrack is super intense, and let me tell you, the IMAX theater we were in, the volume was like
out of
just
1,000.
yeah. So like, here's the requirement for IMAX, right? This is where it was at for the movie, and I wouldn't have wanted it any other way with this movie because this movie
Yeah,
like literally scares you with the
yes,
music and like people's abilities and how people act and responses, conversations. Literally scared the crap out of us.
yeah.
Um, and it just felt so real. It was beautiful. CGI was great. Thought I was there. Thought I was in the middle of the
Mhm.
Sahara Desert. Like it was intense. It really
Yeah.
was.
It definitely was intense, and it knew how to keep everyone occupied, for the lack of
Mhm,
better words. Every single
yeah.
person in the theater was glued to the screen. Like
Mhm.
and I mean, we had a great show out in
There was
our
a lot of
theater
people
that
there.
we were in as well. And I really really advise, if you're going to see Dune, to go to an IMAX near you if you have the ability to.
Or
And
40X.
or 40X, yeah,
Or
or
40X.
40X, but IMAX is like the minimum requirement, kind of,
Mhm.
because the director of this movie, like this movie was made for IMAX.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to say about it. This movie was made for the IMAX. Um, uh, Dennis Villanueva, yeah.
Yeah.
This movie, uh, like you were just saying about the sound, though, it was crazy to hear the ships kind of cut through the air and kind of
Yeah.
cut through the water. And uh if you guys have been here before, then I'm a pretty big like sound effects nerd when it comes to a lot of the stuff that they use in these movies, like Star
Mhm.
Wars. Uh the sound effects of every spaceship there was in the last trilogy, it was amazing. But
Mhm.
this movie, it captured not only audibly but the visual aspects of every single scene that there was something like this going on, if they were flying in the air or anything, like you felt like you were there. What's up with it, Bedrock? How you doing, my
Yo,
man?
how's it
Love to
going?
see you in here, yo. If you haven't seen Dune, don't worry, don't worry. We are not gonna spoil anything at all.
Mhm.
uh, so do you recommend it that we see it at an IMAX? Hey, what's up with it? How you doing?
Yo,
And
how's it
how
going?
you doing, mom? And yeah, I do. We definitely recommend checking this out at the IMAX for sure.
Yeah,
Like this is this was crazy.
like we we even had the conversation. Like, I don't know if I would enjoy it the same watching
Mhm.
it at home. Because if you guys don't know, you can watch this on HBO Max right now.
Yeah,
You don't
definitely.
have to go to the theaters to watch it.
Yeah,
But I'm telling you right now,
the
the
experience.
experience is on a whole nother level on
Yeah, I
IMAX
think
and above.
I think honestly, this has been the best movie experience I've
Oh,
like ever had.
100%. No, for real.
Like
Like,
just
really
ever
thinking
had.
about it,
Period.
that's
Um,
definitely probably the best experience in IMAX theater for any movie I've ever watched.
I mean, the entire
Like, it's
crowd
wild.
was like everyone was. We were all like, like, like when if there was a gas moment, everyone was gasping together.
Yeah.
And you could definitely tell there was some critics in the audience of people. Like there was a person that was sitting right in front of us. It was a dude that came by
Mhm,
himself, and you could tell he read the book. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Like, and you could tell that with a lot of people in the theater that
mhm,
they know what they're coming into with this.
mhm.
Even afterwards, after we took our picture, like an older couple came up to us and they were like, so how'd you like it? And it was like, bro, I like we were like, we don't even know. And you could tell that they've probably even seen the first Dune that
Yeah,
came out back in like 1984, I think, or
yeah,
something like that, you know? So this was the best experience, hands down. And I really wish we could have saw it in 40X for the first time. But
yeah.
I don't think it like I don't think it's a damper in the experience. You know what I mean? I think it
No,
only
yeah,
makes
for sure.
like because we're both going to probably see this again with the 40X if possible. So when we
Mhm.
see it again, it's going to add to that experience and it's going to
Yeah,
make it that much more worth it. And
yeah. Uh, but in terms of, like, the movie, alright, the
yeah,
characters are great, performances were extraordinary. We have a stacked cast all the way from Josh Brolin, to Dennis,
Zendaya and
Zendaya, um, I
Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. I forget the dude, he's from Chernobyl. Um,
I have
but
no idea.
basically the
Yeah.
Palpatine
Oh
of this
yeah.
movie. He's been in quite a few movies. Dave Batista, Polka Dot Man. Oh, like hella people are in this movie.
Polka Dot Man was in this.
He was one of the servants to the super bad.
Oh
Yes,
snap!
yes. This movie is filled with a lot of relatable, powerful, motivational quotes.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
a lot of real talk in this one. In terms of like,
Bedrock said, I haven't seen Dune yet, but he's going to be checking it out on HBO.
hey, just watch it, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be like, man, maybe I might need to go watch this on the big screen because uh
It's definitely worth it,
it's definitely if you're watching it at home, you better turn up that surround sound.
man. You gotta
Full
better
max.
put your beats on or something.
Yeah.
You got to get into that for sure. You
Yep.
gonna subwoofers and all.
hmm Um,
But yeah, like
let's see.
yeah. I mean, when it came down to the acting of every person that was in this movie, I think we can honestly say everyone brought their A game. I don't
No, yeah.
think anyone lacked at all.
hmm Yep.
Everyone brought their A game. And the only thing that I think we had talked about this before we went live, like some people were saying it's hard, like there was no like character development, so to speak. But it was like, man, it was like there was character development, but it was more in the sense of it matters for the world growth,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
world building of what's going on. Not even world. I mean, it's universe building at this point, because
Yeah.
we're going from different planets and a lot of interstellar and intergalactic stuff, and it's just a lot going on. And the only way you can actually get this grasp of what's going on is if they tell the story of Dune and not the story of Anakin Skywalker, I guess. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just to put it lightly, like, this story isn't about, you can see it. Like, this story isn't about what we saw in this movie. It's a very deeper meaning that we haven't got to yet. But
Yeah.
this movie embodied everything beautifully so far.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Real quick, Mary said, when did this movie come out? This movie came out today, technically, I guess you could say, but
Yeah.
everything has the midnight release the day before as well.
Mhm.
So this
Yeah.
movie came out today.
And
Uh,
interesting side note, this movie's been out for a couple months now. It's just
and
that
other places.
we're the we're among the one of the last places to see it because we have HBO Max, and they didn't want to release it everywhere with HBO Max because then the movie would lose money.
Mhm,
So they waited on the United States or wherever they have HBO Max. They waited.
mhm. Yeah,
Um, so we're among the last couple countries to probably watch this movie. Um,
yeah,
but an interesting thing to add on to what you were saying, man, in terms of character development, this movie doesn't really look at individual characters. I mean, obviously, we have our main characters, our side characters,
mhm.
um, our main villain, and like, but like this movie really just was here to set the tone in terms of who the different houses are. Whose house are we trying to support? Who do we want to lose? And it just did all that beautifully, and to where like you didn't really need individual character development because of the way they told the story and the
Yeah,
way they weaved in conversations and character and like origins for certain families and stuff like that. Man, this movie's
yeah,
next level. And like in terms of comparison, like you can compare it in terms of scope to Star Wars, The Foundation. Oh my gosh. And like
yeah. I don't even know what else to say. It's like this was the best experience
no,
ever.
it's literally we literally were like sitting there like, wow, we just and this is like halfway through I went over I said leaned over to Sensei and I was like, dude, we're gonna remember this moment for the rest of our
Yeah,
lives.
for the rest of our
Um
lives. We're gonna be
because
old men talking about Dune.
because the joy, the emotions, like just everything we felt watching this movie blew our minds. Um, and at this point, it's all but kind of like there's a large potential we will be getting a sequel. Um,
Yeah.
most likely we will be getting a sequel. I think there's supposed to be 3 parts. But in the
Oh,
title of this movie, it's called Dune Part One.
part one.
So we're definitely going to be getting more, especially with the way it ended. Um, the action sequences in this movie were
Hmm.
amongst in terms of size and scope were legendary. Um,
Definitely legendary.
they're like what we wanted. They're like the type of fights that we want in Star Wars, but we never get.
Yes.
If that makes sense, that's kind of the vibe that I got. This definitely kind of gave us a lot more of what we would typically want in Star Wars, but we just never get. The
Yeah.
Foundation does the same thing. They're giving us the things that we want to see and learn about, but Star Wars hasn't really done that or tried to navigate that realm. Um, and that's why I love
Facts.
this movie so much. And I'm so excited to not only uh, watch the next one, but I'm definitely going to be reading my Dune novel or
Yeah.
comic graphic novel that I have to figure out what's going on. Because I'm not sure if what we watched was uh, like what the book was, or like what the graphic novel was. So I'm
Mm.
very interested in to see how close they
I've
were in terms
heard
of the
I've heard
story.
some mixed
Yeah,
things of well, I've seen some
yeah,
mixed reviews about that where it's like, oh yeah, no, this is pretty good to the source material, and then it's like,
mhm,
they kind of just picked up on some of the points, but I
yeah.
mean, overall, Oh, what's up with it, man? The web kid, Tristan. Oh, with
What's up,
another
Tristan?
name change, my brother. Hey, I like the web kid. That's a dope name, though. That's a
It's
dope
really
name.
good,
How you
man.
doing? How you doing today, my man? He said this movie was so good. You're freaking
Dude.
definitely right about that. This movie was epic.
Like
Epic.
I can't right now. I really like. I'm. It's hard to express how this movie. Like I just stood there in awe. I literally had my hands on my. I was just literally. This is me. I was just like
Hmm.
trying not to hyperventilate because I was like, we just saw
Yeah.
one of the coolest movies
History,
I've
like,
seen in a long time. Man, I hope it doesn't
yeah,
take long to get part two. I hope we just need to wait till next year. You know.
yeah.
Um, but I don't think they started production for two at all yet. Um, because of COVID or
I
whatever. So
when watching the movie, it just seems so much. Never mind. I don't want to say that, but it just yeah, yeah, yeah. You can see that they have a vision in mind and
yeah.
that they know where this is going. And
Mhm.
if this continues, it's gonna continue. Like it's
Yeah.
one of those. It's like this isn't gonna just be a trilogy. Like that
Yeah.
first story that gets told is gonna be amazing. Don't get me wrong, but Dune is going to be a thing for like now on. Like
Yeah.
if it's not, we're gonna riot. Like that's probably gonna be the outcome.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
gonna be a thing for the first next two movies. After that, depending on how it does,
mhm,
we're probably gonna see more. I don't know. Plus, I think as more and more people see the shows like the Foundation as well.
mm.
Um, which if you guys don't know, the Foundation is the precursor to Star Wars and Dune. Uh so like
Foundation was the first book,
yeah, the
first
first
type of
book
thing
kind of do
made with
that.
the space sci-fi
Yeah.
vibe going on. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Dune followed, not, I don't want to say followed in the footsteps, so to speak, but it definitely built off of that type of where we're in outer space vibe. And
Mhm.
then Star Wars, and then everything else that comes after that. And I
Yeah.
mean, the the in the trailer for this movie, one of the reviews says it's like Star Wars meets what is it, Lord of the Rings meets whatever, and it's like,
Yep.
yo, in term of the scale of everything that's going on, it is like it's
Yeah.
definitely that. This might be even, it seems like it's even a bigger scale than everything else is, to be
Mhm.
honest. I think the Foundation has the biggest scale of anything though,
The
but
Foundation
Dune. We could start talking about the
yeah.
Foundation because that is a great show on Apple TV.
Mhm.
Definitely worth getting Apple TV for that. I actually, that's the only reason why I have it.
Mhm.
But it's amazing. But other than that, yo, what? How did you feel? Just I don't know how to talk about this movie without giving spoilers, yo. I'm trying so hard. How were you feeling just in the movie overall, like beginning to middle, like like the story that they were weaving for us? How did you feel
Mhm.
about it? Were you there for it, or were you like, oh man, this needs to hurry up? Or
This movie's a long movie.
the
This
yeah,
is 2 hours and 30 minutes. Some people
hmm,
that might be long, others maybe not. But the way it played out, there was a lot of dialogue. Uh, a lot of obviously the beginning part that we're talking about right now is I guess the most where you can see the most ground level character building in terms of uh, House Atreides, like how like they're amongst the most powerful and probably the most feared families next to the Empire and next to the and Andalor no the people that are have been under have controlled Dune's the planet for the majority of the time. Uh,
yes, yes,
we're learning about the son, the wife, um, the little organization that the wife and son kind of have a little mix in with. And I think that, along with the political aspect of them becoming the warden of Dune and stuff like that, weave together
hmm,
perfectly. And I was there for it 100%. Uh, and I just,
I I I
Everyone killed
loved
it, man.
I
Everyone just killed
loved
it.
how everything had a circle, so to speak.
Mhm.
Like when something is mentioned, it pays off.
Yes.
Nothing is just spoken of to be like there's no false words. And for us specifically, like how me and you are,
Mhm.
we love stuff like that because we pay attention to every detail that's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So once it comes back later on, we're like, oh bro, like oh, that's what they were talking about when you know
Mhm.
what I mean? So it's and there were so many moments of just the like we said, yo, they're not just world building, they're telling you what you need to know in order to get to the next step.
Yeah. They
And that's
basically
what
they
I
basically
felt like
did
I
what
was
it
watching a book, yo.
No, yeah. They basically did what it took Star Wars to do in 10 movies.
Yes.
Perfectly. That's probably the best way I could put it. And there's still movies coming out. So like with Star Wars, they concluded everything with like the latest one. But like they Dune did all of that, the however many years it took to do that with one movie.
With
Uh
one movie, bro.
and man, I go watch this movie, guys. Everyone needs to
Go.
watch this movie because
We are 100% advocates of going to see this immediately.
yes.
um
I might rewatch it tomorrow at this point.
I
Like
agree with
that's
you.
where I'm at because
I am, yo, what time, like, depending on what time we stop this, you know what I mean? Like,
uh
this movie was incredible, bro. And I just want to dissect it. I want to dissect this universe. I want to
mhm,
dive in. I just want to get just freaking go down the rabbit hole of Dune
yeah.
because this was amazing.
Mhm,
I'm gonna ask you like one last question that's kind of spoilery and not
mhm.
too spoilery, and then if you have any other questions, we can go to those, and then I'd want to get into the spoiler part.
Yep.
Um, so my one question is how did you feel about like this? What was it called? Like the Sarah the Sardaukar, like the best fighters of the galaxy, basically the ones in white.
Oh, yes, the ones that they were like, "Hey, I know we're pretty good. We're pretty good, but
Yo,
House Atrocity is House Atreides don't play. Uh, they're among the best in the entire universe.
yo,
So we need your help. We need you to pull the and like you could see that come to fruition. Um, and how that the people you're talking about come into play, why they're important, and how they really kind of help the evil empire, I guess you can call,
Mm-mm.
say, out. Uh, but I thought their whole intro and like how they introduced us to them, the scope, the
Yeah,
size, the darkness. Oh
that
man,
was so dope, bro. It
that
was a
was
freaking
wild.
it was like stormtroopers and Assassin's Creed met and mixed together. And yo, it was just like this the like you said though, the scale of them when they first showed up on screen,
Hmm.
and it's just like whoa,
Yeah,
like
and this
you
movie,
just see like person after person. Everything looks so real. I was
it
like, where
does.
did they find 10,000 people to be in white? Like, what in the world is going on?
And again, we're not exaggerating. This movie is huge. Like you watch this movie, everything that you're watching on screen, in comparison to the people that are in here, is
You feel like
massive.
a you feel like an ant.
Yes, like I only could imagine how people in that world would feel like working next to these ships, working next to these giant buildings, or like oh my gosh, I
Bro.
go watch this movie. Just
I
go watch it.
felt tiny watching the movie. I was like, bro, this is what? I
Yeah.
was like, what? I am but a speck in the
Hmm.
infinite universe of the movie.
Yep.
um my bad, web kid, Tristan. We are Zoom. We missed a couple of your comments, bro. But let's see. My man said, "What a cliffhanger!" When we get to the spoiler territory, I'm going to ask you something.
That
Okay. So we'll definitely remember that. He said, "Can we get 6 Dune films?" Hey, I want
one day,
6. I
one
want
day.
at least 6. 2 trilogies minimum. The other house don't play either, if you know what I
That's
mean.
true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No one played. I think that's one thing that we can really appreciate. People
yeah.
were in this movie like they knew what was going on. They're like, "Nah, bro,
Person would
we're
take
fighting."
one step. Fucking 13 people.
Exactly.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You
I
want to die?
will
You,
murder you.
we will kill you. Like,
The world, don't you step towards our king, bruh. We will take
yeah,
you out right now. Um, I mean, that's kind of all I have for the non-spoiler
yeah.
part.
That's
How
about
about you, bro? You got anything
that's about
else?
all. That's about all I got, man.
Okay, we'll give you guys our rating for the Marvel Bros scale, so you guys can have that. The ones that are here for the non-spoilers. So 5 out of 5. I mean,
Five
this
out of
is a
five.
10 out of 10.
You
Like
can't.
this is a
This is
70. This 70,000 out of 5. Like this was amazing, bro.
this is 100. Like
Yeah.
from 1 to 100, this is 100.
Hmm.
Uh, the only fault is that we couldn't have gotten more. That's the only
Yeah.
fault.
Remy was like, I was so upset when this ended. I was like, yo, I feel you. I felt the same
I
way.
wanted to
It,
sit there and watch another hour, two
it was
hours.
so good. It felt like we sat through a 2 hour TV show. And I don't know, a lot of people won't really understand what I mean by that because people might think I'm talking mess or throwing shade on it by saying that I felt like it was a TV show.
Hmm.
But if you think about how depth works with TV shows and episodes and how much character development, so to speak, is
Yeah,
put into an episode for characters, especially nowadays with what we have, like Mandalorian, like all of the Disney Plus shows
yeah.
and Foundation and like The Boys, all that type of stuff.
Hmm.
The scale of this movie was like we were getting episode 1 of it. Felt like it was like, bro, I just can't. I wanted to come home and literally watch every single other movie that is in direct correlation with this one, and I don't
Yeah.
have that. I can't. I want to go back and watch the movie from 1984 just to like
Hmm.
kind of understand how that was versus what we got here. Read
Yeah.
the book, you know what I mean? Like I want to
Hmm.
dive into the world.
Yeah. Um. Well, I think it's that time.
All right,
Spoiler time.
it's spoiler time, ladies and gents. If you're in here, we appreciate you for watching up until this point. If you haven't watched the movie,
I strongly
uh,
suggest you go watch this movie before you listen to the stuff we're about to talk about because
definitely, because we are about to get into the like into the thick of it,
yes.
like the backyardigans said, you know.
Spoilers. All right, guys.
Big
We got
spoilers.
just be
We
careful.
got we got this big flashing spoiler sign above us, so I hope you understand how serious it is. Okay.
Okay. So I don't even know like where do you want to start, man? Like, cause like this.
Let's start with Tristan's question.
Okay,
Let's
yeah,
start
Tristan.
with Tristan's
What's your
question.
question,
My
man?
man
What's your
said, "Here
question?
comes the question." Hopefully, it's not like the end of the movie that he's talking about right off the back. But
Okay, that's exactly what I was
okay,
about to talk about.
yeah,
Okay,
okay. So my man said, "What happened to Josh Brolin's character? We didn't
this
see anything happen to him. We
is
didn't
my
see him
theory.
die."
This is my theory. All right. So you know how there's a moment. Well, no. Well, Josh, like from the beginning of the movie, we see him train Paul, our
Hmm.
main
Yeah,
character, right? This dude doesn't play. All right. This dude is like the dude in the army, and like the dudes that you were talking about in the white suits, they
yeah.
referred to him
The Sir
specifically.
Decur.
They brought up his name when
Oh,
they're like, "Yo, they have him. We gotta be like." I know. We watch have to
Gurney.
be
That's what
careful
his
because
name
of
was.
him. We gotta watch out for Gurney. We know who he is. Um, and when that whole battle sequence went down, and everything started to fall apart for them, um, which was very sad to watch. And and like we said, it made us really, really, really understand who the villains were and why we should not like them.
Mhm.
Um, but they go into battle, and later on we see like yeah, these the House of Atreides, they can fight. Jason
Oh
Momoa's
yeah.
character alone could take down a whole fucking like
Fleet
squad. Yeah,
of the Sir of the
to the
Cars. Like,
point where people are like, "Yo, yo, 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 we're just getting paid. Like, we're not getting paid enough for this. You go fly away. We're not going to associate ourselves with you."
mhm.
And that literally happens to that man. Uh, but they charge into battle. They go hand to hand. That's the last time we see him, right? However, there was a moment when I believe Paul and his mom were trying to escape, or they're being carried out. I don't know why it showed, but it was a scene that was showed, and the ship above was raining fire on that battlefield. Do you remember that moment?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so my theory was him and who the people that he with won. Like they were going to win. To the point to where
Oh,
the people
they
in
had to take
charge
out.
were like, "We know we have men down there. They're getting slaughtered. Fuck it, bombard them,
Yeah.
bombard them." And I think that's what happened.
Mm.
So like they were winning down there. They
Yeah.
weren't winning at the castle, but they won down there, and they rained fire.
They
And
were winning, and they were gonna start like the battle was gonna start turning in their favor, especially once they got to those ships that they were trying to get to. But once the Empire destroyed them, it was like, oh
yeah,
man, like what do we do?
and then
What were they called? The Acronites or something?
acronyms, I think, or something like that. Uh, but then later on, we see like Paul's character starting to see his visions and see the aftermath, and we see piles of bodies on
Hmm.
fire. We see House Atreides soldiers being beheaded. You know, um, with that said, there's characters that we see in the beginning of the movie that we don't see again. So my theory is they're still alive. They either escaped in hiding, um,
Mm.
or they're with other people that live on Dune. I can't remember the name, but the natives that live on Dune. They're hard people though. They go hard, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
the Fremen,
The Fremen, yeah,
The Fremen,
the
yeah, the
Fremen go hard.
Fremen.
So that's my theory as to what happened. But so I'm pretty sure he is dead, but he went hard, so he
He
might have
did go hard.
survived. Maybe he like took someone's uniform and blended in with other soldiers. I could definitely see him survive because of how hard of a character that Josh Brolin set for that person, that particular character. With that
Yeah,
said, we lose Jason Momoa, and that was a heartbreaking moment. I
yeah.
saw it coming too. I was like, "Wait, this is the hallway." Jason, no, this is the hallway. Don't go down the hallway. Heartbreaking,
Yeah,
heartbreaking.
definitely heartbreaking. And that's one thing that they weren't playing with us when it came to stuff like that. Like they were taking people out left and right,
They
and
really
almost
wanted us to know.
everyone freaking was gone except the bad guys. Like the
Yeah,
bad guys won in this movie. Like hands down, they won. It was over.
yeah.
Um WebKid says, what if in part two, Paul finds out that the Baron has captured Gurney? Ooh.
I don't know. They executed
Hmm.
all of their soldiers. I feel.
They executed
I
everyone.
don't think, and they were ordered, and then like the big bad ordered Dave Batista and the rest of his troops to start killing everyone else as well.
Hmm.
So that way the Baron can control everything and don't have to worry. But then with that said, the Barons don't know how many people are there. Their estimation was
Yeah.
50,000 when it's in the like what was it? Was it hundreds
I
of
think they said
thousands or
hundreds.
millions?
Yeah, like I think they said hundreds of thousands.
And they all know how to fight hard. Um,
Hmm. I
man,
really wasn't ready for the trailers to not show basically anything that actually happened in this movie.
Yeah. They only showed the flashbacks that Paul saw.
Yeah, they
That was it.
only showed the flashbacks. So they ruined the next movie. They didn't even ruin this one. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, but still, the buildup is man, impeccable. And I really
Mhm.
loved Jason Momoa's character. I love Josh Brolin's character, and I really loved Oscar Isaac's character and the
Yeah.
dynamic that Oscar Isaac had with Timothée Chalamet
Yeah.
as father and son. Like
Just the conversations,
Remy
man.
even said it like multiple times. She was like, he Paul looks like he could be their child in real life.
Mhm.
And I was like, he does. He looks like he could be Oscar Isaac's son. And who is that? Rebecca, I can't think of her last name. But
I don't remember her name.
the actresses, he looked like they could be, their child for
Mhm.
real. And the dynamic that Paul had with his dad and with his mom, and how different they were from each other,
Yeah.
it all went to build on who he is and who they are
And then,
and
like,
how
that
they even got
relationship
together. Yeah,
that relationship itself is wild because I don't know if, you guys caught if those of you guys have watched this, have catched it, but even though that was Paul's mom, she's not married to the king. She's like, or to, the Duke of, House Atreides.
yeah.
He I think from what we understood, she's basically like the witch that was assigned to him, I guess you could say. I don't know what they
Mhm.
called it in the movie, so I'm just referring to her as a witch, but I know she's not necessarily
He
a witch.
called her. They called her the concubine,
Yeah.
and that is a woman who lives with a man but has lower status than his wife or
Mhm.
wives.
Yeah. And like that was like his advisor almost, it seemed like. And then like the world that she comes from, like for all the concubines, I'm assuming they're all from that particular group of people. Um
Oh, I see, I see, I
the
see. It
big
just
the
says
ki-
if a man isn't married to the woman and they live
oh no,
together,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a concubine.
But like the big witch bad, I guess you could say. Well, I don't know, she's
Uh,
not bad. She works for the Empire, but also doesn't in a way. It's weird.
I can't think of what her name was.
It was like basically the person that trained the mom and her ability to
Hmm.
like, because those are like there's people that have the ability to order people to do things. So like they can force talk people on a more extreme level to the point
Yeah.
where like they'll say something in the mind like say kill him, and all of a sudden they can't do anything except follow what they're saying. And Paul is the first dude to have that ability because the mom and her whole organization that they're a part of only is allowed to have that power or give that power to girls. So now that Paul
Hmm.
has his ability, this particular organization finds out about this during the movie, and they realize Paul's more powerful than any of them. And like they straight up said, "You're lucky we don't kill your son."
Yep.
He's lucky. You're lucky he can control himself because we would have killed him.
If he
And
would have reacted like an animal, we would have had to put him down like an animal.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
and I thought that test that they put him through in this movie was not only frightening to watch because that visually, along with the music and the volume of
Yeah.
that music, it was. I felt the intenseness. I felt like I was there, and you could even the mom. You could see the reaction within the mom, the pain that she felt like she was going through,
Hmm.
how scared she was to have maybe lose her son over this ritual that was being done. And I thought that was one of the many awesome sequences in the movie.
Yeah, definitely. It was I loved that sequence as well as the entire very sad sequence with towards the end of the
Hmm.
movie with the dude that he had the vision of, that he was supposed to be,
Yeah, I thought they were
home,
supposed to be
like they were
friends.
supposed to be big friends, and then
Hmm.
unfortunately that's not what ended up happening.
Yeah, and you know what? I really thought because like the visions that we saw, we see Zendaya, you know, stab him.
Hmm.
We see Zendaya and him be friends. We saw him be friends with the dude he ends up fighting later on. There's different things that happen that we see. It's like we don't know if okay, are these all metaphors or are all these things like things that are going to happen?
Whoa.
It just didn't happen the way that we wanted it to, or that it was supposed to, because the big lady that we just referred to that kind of interrogated him to really kind of figure out, okay, can he live? Can he not live? That
Mm-hmm.
person said to him or told him in like the visions that he would see. I'm pretty sure it was that's the lady. Was like, if you kill someone, you kill yourself.
Mm.
And we're not sure if that represents, okay, you know what? The moment you kill someone, you're going to lose who you are as a person. Or if it literally means if you kill this particular person, you're killing yourself. In the sense that Zendaya's character or someone else's character later down the line is going to come back to end up killing you and
Yeah.
killing Paul. And so that's kind of what I got from it. But how are you feeling about that? Because that was something we had a conversation about that we just weren't sure.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seemed like a little bit of both of what may be happening.
Hmm.
Because if we think back to the entire dialogue that the Reverend Mother had with Paul and his mom about how he didn't act like an animal and so to
Hmm.
speak and so on and so forth. It was kind of like I kind of feel like that was her saying that this like the dude that you are now, you will not be able to withhold that quote unquote animal. And I think that's why he kind of had those visions of him like taking out like person after person, you know what I mean? And all of those different visions that he
Hmm.
had, because it was showing that this new life that he will like be living is
Hmm.
not going to be in accordance with who he was before. I mean,
Yeah.
even when he takes out the dude that he was supposed to become friends with, uh his mother says like he's tearing this dude up. Like the guy is
Yeah.
tripping because they're all mad because they don't want him and his mom to come with them because
Yeah.
they're outworlders basically. And the Fremen are like, no, you don't come with us. Like, and then once they go through all their pleasantries and all the good stuff, and the guy vouches for the son, then he says the mom can't come, and then the mom's like, well, bro, I'm not leaving my son, and the son's like, I'm not leaving my mom. And then the head guy comes up to the mom and he thinks that he's about to do something to the mom, but she
she
like whoa, whoa,
he gets
whoa,
fucking 360 swapped in midair, body slammed, and like,
body slammed. And he was like, why didn't you tell me
yeah,
that you
like what
were a
the fuck?
fighter? And
Like,
she was like, there was no time to, like, y'all were trying to
yeah.
take me out immediately.
Hmm.
But then after that happens, one of his, it seems like his right hand man was tripping. He was like,
He's
no,
like, how you
like they
gonna let
can't
that
come with us.
happen? And you're
Hmm.
following, and you're the leader, and you're gonna let that happen?
Exactly.
I
Yep. And
challenge.
I
Wait,
challenged her. He challenged the mother
okay,
because
that's what
the
I
mother
wasn't
is the
sure.
one that challenged, that
Hmm.
basically took down their leader.
Hmm.
And then the mother was like, no. And then he was like, then I challenge your son because that's basically your
Yeah,
right hand man.
you're champion.
She's the lead. Yeah, I'm the champion here, so I want to fight your champion. And
Hmm.
yo, Paul was putting the tiddlywinks on that man, like,
Hmm.
and then he didn't want to kill him, and he just kept. He said yield, and the entire
They were
group
like,
of Fremen were like,
what?
the audacity of this man. And
Yeah,
then he was like, the boy does not know our ways. Like, yo,
they even
there
go to
is
the
no
mom.
yield. You gotta die. Like, and he just keeps trying to disable him, and the head honcho for the Fremen says, why is he toying with him? And she's like, he's never killed before.
Yeah, and he really didn't want to kill him, but like he made sure that the person he was fighting understood that all the blows I'm dealing right now are blows that could have killed you, and like you could
Hmm.
see and hear the frustration from this man. Because
Yeah.
I even said it. I was like, the disrespect that Paul is dissing on this dude right now is, oh my, like there's no way he would.
He's like, I could have killed you 4 times
Yeah,
before. He could have killed that man like 4 or 5 times before he actually killed him.
yeah,
And he was like, man, this sucks. Like,
like like if he came out of there alive, the way I see it happening is he ends up trying to kill Paul later on in like revenge. He kills himself because of pity and shame, or
Yeah.
he exiles himself. Like those are the three things that I see happen if they
Freaking
kept him alive.
sacrifices himself to the Alaskan bullworm.
Yeah, I hoped
Uh,
I hoped they could be friends. I really did because there was a moment where you see a flashback and they're like, you look like okay, these dudes they did some stuff together.
mhm.
Like you could tell the camaraderie, but
Camaraderie.
camaraderie amongst the two of them, and that didn't happen. Uh, but I'm happy with what we got, and you know what? I think that moment right there was one of the pivotal moments of this movie because it really helped Paul figure out, okay, you know what? I'm the Duke of House Atreides. I have to follow in my father's footsteps in terms of what he wanted to do there. Um, because initially House Atreides was sent there to be the warden of Dune, but he and as well as everyone else in House Atreides understood that them going there was going to start a war with the Baron, right? The Baron. I don't know what are they called, or the Acreans,
The Fremen?
evil, Dave Bautista's people. Are they called the Acreans or the Baron?
They're the ones that sent him there though.
Because the Empire ordered him to be the warden, and then
Hmm.
the Emperor told Dave Bautista's
But
people to
it
leave.
was the dude, it was Polka Dot Man that
Mhm.
came and told them, right? Wasn't that who it was at the
No,
beginning
I
that
think it
told
was a
him?
different. I don't know. We'd have to meet because there was
Yeah,
a
now
lot of
we
people
gotta,
that showed
yeah, there
up.
was a lot of stuff going on.
Because there was a lot of people that showed up, and they said by decree of the king of the emperor, you are to
Hmm.
go to Dune. I forget the planet's name. There was a specific name,
It's called
and
like Anacrium.
you're gonna be the warden and bring peace to the area. And right before that,
Arrakis. That's what it's called.
yes,
Arrakis.
Maracas. Right before that, the Empire told the evil people in this particular situation to leave the planet, and they did. And initially, Batista's character was like, "What, like, uncle? Like, why? You
Hmm.
and I both know that we have more funds and power than the Empire itself. Like, why are we listening to them?" And then the leader, I forget, I don't know his name, the big bad. Uh, but
The
he was like,
Baron.
"Is that
That's
okay?
who
Yeah,
he
the Baron."
is. Yeah.
He was like, "You don't understand what's happening here. This is, like we're going to take it back." Like, I don't know if it was a plan to. It seemed like the Empire and the Baron worked together to destroy House Atreides because the Empire was afraid of how powerful House Atreides is in terms of like the scope and like the reach that one family had over everyone in the particular galaxy. And so they kind of did this as a ploy to go to war with House Atreides to get rid of them. And
Mm.
and that's what happened. And I'm not exaggerating, guys. Seeing all this unfold on the big screen was extraordinary. Um,
Hmm.
the visuals, the explosions, the moment that war like really kicks off and really the first ship blows up. I thought a nuke went off. Like that's how big the explosion was in
For
comparison
real.
to like the city. And then like they had a hammer of dog. Oh my god! Like it was intense. What was your thoughts on like the whole battle sequence, man?
Tristan said, I hope in part two we get to see Timothy versus Dave Batista.
Ooh,
Yeah, that
I'm
will
sure.
be nice.
I'm sure that's something we're going to see in the future. I thought his character was badass, Dave Bautista. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, it sucks
When
that
he
we
just
didn't see
started
more
chopping
of
off
him.
heads, that was freaking
Yeah,
crazy.
but the way he performed and the way he kind of held himself up amongst other soldiers that he was with, and the
Hmm.
way that they made him look like the dictator was awesome.
Yes.
Uh, and I wanted to see so much more from a lot of different characters, but I'm not mad that we didn't because we're gonna see them bring up
Mm.
uh in the next like Zendaya, for example. She just got paid to stand,
I
and
was. I
being
was
silhouettes.
so sad that I was just so sad that we didn't get to see more of her character.
Yeah.
Like, because by the time Zendaya's character is introduced, the movie's like over. So
Yeah.
it was just like, damn, they paid her to be in the next movie. Like that's what they
Yeah.
paid her for. Like, and basically every scene she's in is actually a future scene. It's not like it's a vision that he has, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
we're gonna see those visions come to fruition in the next
Hmm.
couple of movies. So, like, but as far as the whole war fight scene that it transpired, it was epic. I mean, when the movie first started, right off the bat, um, like we see that the Barons people, I can't think of what they're called, the bad dudes though. Let me see.
The evil people in this situation, it really showed us the size and
Uh,
scope of their reach and power, and they made it
okay,
that
so the
very clear.
Arrakis are I think they're the bad dudes,
The Arrakis.
the Arrakis, and then the planet is Arakeen. Oh wait, no, I don't know. I don't know. Too many names. Too many names.
Yeah, this is a whole new world, guys. So this is like,
Whole world.
at least for us, because we never watched the old ones or read the book. So like, this is a whole new world in terms of cinema for a lot of people. Uh, unless
Mm,
you're older, or you just like older movies. I didn't even know, because there is an older movie to this.
yep.
Um, I don't know if there's more than one. I don't know. I think
I
it might
don't
just be
think
the one.
so.
Um, but oh my, this movie was amazing, guys. You guys need to go watch it. Um,
Hmm.
and I can't stress that enough. You know what? There's something that we did have to talk about, because there was a moment in this movie when we got
We were like, "What the
like,
hell?"
it happened, and I looked at Sensei, and I was like, "Did you just get that vibe too?"
Like
So
we
like,
looked at each other. Like I was like, "Man, what the
we're
hell was
like,
that?"
"Why was this in here?" We were so
So
confused.
Paul and his mom have escaped their destroyed city, and they are getting ready to put on the
The
sand suit.
suits,
I
the
don't know
sand
what
suits.
they're yeah, I don't know what they're actually called.
Hmm.
But so my man Paul is like, taking his regular clothes off so he
Hmm.
can get into his sand suit. And his mom is like,
Looks
"Hmm."
over it. I don't know. It's like,
The
what?
way she looked at him, it was
Yeah.
just
And then he
it was
turns and looks
very
at her, and I was like,
it was
"What are
like
we
what the
doing?"
like she looked at him and was like, "Ooh, he been working out." And it was just like, "Wait, bruh, I'm
We were
at this
so
moment,
confused.
I
Yeah.
am in I am so confused as to what's happening."
Yeah.
Um
And I just don't know, because, and we talked about, maybe it's like how they're supposed to, like, maybe that's what she's supposed to do, as like that,
mm,
as her role. We're just not sure as to what, like, if that's the normal thing or not, because that moment happened, and that we were done with it, right? And one of the things that we
yeah.
said was like, we didn't need that moment, because that moment was creepy, and it just, I don't understand why that moment was there. They
What
could
did
have,
it take place for? It's not
yeah,
like he had a birthmark that she was looking at or something,
yeah, or like
like
new
his wings were
markings or
starting to
something.
sprout, like
Yeah.
or he got lashed on his back and she was looking at his
Hmm.
wound. Like it was like, nah, bro. She was looking at that man's skin, and it was
He
like,
was
what?
like looking like a good
What's
snack right
good?
there. Looking like a
Yes, she looked
snack.
at him like a
Yeah.
snack, and I don't know what was going on.
Like,
I was extremely uncomfortable.
yeah, and like, it was a moment where they could have did like a cool desert, like, twists, like, view thing, and all of a sudden they're suited up, right? But like,
Yeah,
what they
that's what
did,
I
I was like,
expected.
it caught us both off guard, and we both looked at each other at that moment,
Well,
realizing how creepy in that moment was. Uh,
because that was extremely creepy.
yeah,
There was no other way to kind of react to that moment. It was
and we
just like
laughed.
it was hilarious.
uh,
It was hilarious and creepy at the same time.
mhm. Um,
But 10 out of 10, I definitely recommend.
yeah, this movie is definitely a 10 out of 10. Uh, watch it immediately. And then once you're done, if you didn't watch it in theaters, you go watch it in theaters, because it's a great time. It's a really great time.
Definitely.
Um, I feel like there's so much more for us to talk, but we'd have to watch it again to really kind of understand who's who, what
We're
people's
still
names
high
are.
off of that movie right now, yo.
Yeah,
Like we're in
but
the honeymoon phase.
that's about all I got. I don't want to say.
That's
I
all I
mean,
got as well.
we talked about a lot of stuff that's in the movie. Basically the main points of this movie we talked about with you guys. But you guys have to go watch this and see it.
One thing I kind of just figured out in my head right now was that what happened at the beginning was that the people on the planet were destroying the bad people. They were tearing them up. So that's why the Duke got finessed to come there so they could take over.
Oh, that was the Yep, that's right.
Yo, yo,
Because they
that's
didn't want to just.
crazy.
I don't think they wanted to just be the bad guy and eradicate everyone for no reason.
Yeah, because their ships started freaking blowing up left and right. Remember? Because all
Hmm.
the sand, all the people in the sand were like shooting at their ships and they were all hiding, and the ships
Yep.
were exploding left and right at the beginning of the movie. And I think that's when we first see Zendaya, or when we first see
Yeah.
her. And then after that, that's when the ship comes to the planet to tell them to go, and then everything transpires from there. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was all the finesse. It was
Yeah.
all the
Because
finesse.
and like all this stems. I don't think we talked about it. All this stems from a special dust that's on the planet.
Spice.
And it's called spice. This particular spice increases longevity.
Mhm.
It helps, and it's the only thing in the whole universe that allows people to make interstellar space travel possible. And
Mhm.
that planet is the only place it's at, and so that's a valuable resource, and that's what all the conflict that we get in this movie kind of stems from. And it's a desert, so there's no water, but there's hella people there. So that's
Hella
something that
people there.
so that's something to also keep in
And the
mind.
suits that they use recycle their sweat and their tears and stuff as
Hmm.
drinkable water.
Yeah.
Yo, so much stuff that we still have to talk about. We're definitely gonna have to do another live like next week or something because we're so on the peak of how good this
Hmm.
movie was that we're gonna miss a lot of little details that were in there and
Hmm.
not kind of go over. But yo, as long as you guys drop a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, you'll definitely be able to keep up with all the conversations that we have
Oh yes.
about this universe, the
Hmm.
Duneverse, if you will.
uh, with that said, guys, let us know how you guys like Dune. If you guys watched it, let us know if you guys are going to watch it. And once you do watch it, come back. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought about the movie. Um, we really want to know what you guys think.
Yeah, definitely. And make sure you guys join our Discord so we can talk about Dune more. We already got a little private spoiler channel in there for everybody that's seen Dune already for us to talk about it and kind of go crazy about it. So make sure if you haven't already, make sure you guys like and do all that good stuff. Check out our website,
Hmm.
www.marvelbros.com, where you can purchase our merchandise. You
Oh
can
yes.
join our Discord, like we say, and we go live on our website with everything like we go live here. So make
Hmm.
sure you tune in. Oh, what's up with it? DeVito, my
Oh,
man,
how's it
tuning
going?
in. Thanks for tuning in, even though it's at the end. We still appreciate you, my guy. Uh, oh, that's on Twitch though. My man tuning in on Twitch. That's what's up. Love it. Love to see it. And with all that good stuff being said, we appreciate you guys for watching, and
Yep.
we will definitely check you on the next one.
Peace.
Excelsior.
All of Marvel Bros. Pop culture news updates are now available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. You can also watch Marvel Bros. Live every Sunday on Facebook.com, or you can watch them on YouTube, where we upload regularly. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Marvel Bros. 23 to keep up with all things Marvel and everything pop culture.